Greetings to my peoples. Salute. What's up, y'all? Positive energy, activate constant elevation, baby. You know what I'm saying? Through this channel of positive enlightenment, positive energy, positive salutations to you all. I'm on here, you know what I'm saying, to communicate knowledge itself to my people. You know, where, you know, I am just staying structured around positivity, doing the right thing, staying out of trouble, staying out the, you know, like staying out the way of unnecessary elements that don't have anything to do with the growth and development of my growth and development. Because every day is a good day, you know what I'm saying, to be on a path of progressiveness, to tap into your potential, you know what I'm saying. So in this unique situation we dealing with, overcoming the challenges and circumstances, arguments and issues of racism, and still discriminatory practices of forces, you know what I'm saying, that is biased in their ways, you know what I'm saying, to where they do what they do in terms of how they do things in the circles that they are in. You know, as far as the influences that they are under, the influences. You know what I'm saying? So, I remember a spiritual brother mentioned to me once upon a time about the topic of negative influences. I can really relate to what he was talking about in terms of, like, why I feel it's necessary to stay away from negative influences. You know what I'm saying? I think it's of primary importance to stay away from negative influences, you know what I'm saying? Because when you put yourself in a position through conscious judgment, you know what I'm saying, to always be on the safe side for yourself so you can, you know, be able to enjoy your life's potential, you know what I'm saying? So this is John the Nubian winner. You know, Victorious JT, just on here kicking the science with my peoples, you know what I'm saying? Because I think, you know, it's necessary for this social media outlet that I have to use my social media outlet in a fashion to where it's about smarting up the people instead of you know, like being a sheeple type person who gets swept away in the currents of being dumbed down. You know what I'm saying? I am a safety net to the community. I am a source of safety to the community. Not a liability to the community or a thorn in the side of the community. You know what I'm saying? I am a pillar of the community. As a result of me knowing better, I am doing better. So you can tell by the logic that I am using, right? Shows that my thinking is in the right places. to not be a credulous individual who just readily acceptable of some kind of storylines that certain forces be trying to feed me or us, right? But what makes me different from others, or what make most of us who have a mind of our own different from others, is that we don't just be off and running with the anything information that certain forces want to influence us with for their own reason, aim, and purpose. Now, man, it's good that we have freedom of speech, but yet you have certain owners of certain social media outlets, right? To where people be getting censored for talking about healthy things and good things for the mind of a viewing listener who pretty much is listening to something that they feel is worth their while to listen to, that will enlighten them, right? But yet, you know what I'm saying, you have certain forces that unnecessarily try to interfere with that communication by censoring truthers, so to speak. I said in one of my last transmissions, right, that there is nothing wrong with the truth in terms of when people demonize the truth. See, that's a trick. Every day we dealing with situations and circumstances, right, to where we want to find ourselves pretty much at the end of the day safe and all right, where we can resume for the next day with our plans, with our business or work, you know what I'm saying, to successfully get through, you know what I'm saying, and benefit from the money we make in terms of us having resources to enjoy our life, you know what I'm saying, without being caught up in like certain static electricity of negative experiences from running into negative people or negative situations or negative environments where it seems like that environment is mentally underdeveloped, where they lack education about valuing the environment, you know what I'm saying, with positive societal relationships. The nature of this particular communication, I want to talk about the intelligence community, in addition to with higher intelligences that has connections with our African roots, which are our true roots. Right? Dealing also with breaking spells off of our minds, which is of primary importance, because when we take the time out to get certain revelatory information that's meant for us saving ourselves with, and for the sake of those who are willing to listen to a positive conversation, right? To where they can work on saving themselves too, as a result of having an understanding that we have saving power to save ourselves as a result of being committed to positive thinking. But we know there are certain forces and entities at work that are our adversaries, to where no matter how smart we think we may get, or no matter how smart we think we may become, we always have to use our head and not get triggered and provoked into a situation that causes us to overreact, right? To where we end up crossing a line that we can't come back from as a result of being egotistical to make a point, you know what I'm saying, by taking certain matters into our own hands physically in a way to put somebody in check. You know what I'm saying? When we can have the emotional intelligence about ourselves to not engage in pretty much something that is designed to get us off our square because of us doing good. You know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere, here come a unnecessary challenge. You know what I'm saying? To distract my mind from being committed to my spiritual principles that keep me in tune with positive guidelines for myself and my family, because I got vision about the bigger picture of life in terms of what I'm doing as a mature adult who grieve on children, for them to have certain wisdom, pearls of wisdom to hold on to, right? In a world such as this, to where they will be able to have vision that they won't stray away from, that wasn't able to get them through the challenging times that we all is living in regarding this present time and the future, with awareness of history that we're going to get into right now. Now for instance, right, what I want to do is guide our attention to the topic of what I want to communicate about the intelligence communities that we have within our system here in the United States that constitute the United States government, right? That we are a part of through the laws that we govern our lives with. For instance, right, I have a question to where this information is going to provide certain ideas of an answer, right? For instance, right, what I want to talk about, right, I think has a lot of significance to it, right? I think it has a lot of significance to it regarding being informed on how to relate to our intelligence communities that is labeled a certain way, because by us being in the classroom of God, right, in this universe, connected with multi-dimensional realities. We don't have tunnel vision like certain monotheistic training that people have, right? That don't supersede certain questions that should be asked to broaden their knowledge range with, or spectrum. So when I say range, in terms of like the level or measure of intelligence that a person under, or a person who have been influenced, right, by a certain schooling, right? A certain schooling, right? That have them stuck with that particular ideology, but they got tunnel vision and don't see no other way. Right? Hold on. I had to get my spiritual music right. Like I was saying, right, about certain tunnel vision that people been conditioned to have on purpose. Because in comparison to these particular intelligence communities, objectives, and operations, you know what I'm saying, the battle in the sky is dealing with the battle of the mind. Now, look at these particular concepts where we're finna go with this, right? Because I got some questions. So like, okay, how do our government work? Like, okay, in other words, spiritually, we get into the Bible or the Holy Quran or other spiritual books dealing with the Kabbalah or certain spiritual paths dealing with certain spiritual communities, right? To help us get an understanding of how to function in this existence called life. But yet, we know it's certain principalities and high places and powers that have been pretty much running certain programs on people to where people have been influenced mentally, like the effects of, like, say for instance, like the effects of a mind-altering chemical, which is like designed to affect the mind in a certain way outside of the mind of the person having a sober mind. So when a person's sober mind is compromised, all kind of, like they say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop, right? To where your mind can become vulnerable to influences that will end up either doing its bidding for a certain cause, or to the point where you can end up getting in trouble, to where you will see that you was under a certain influence outside of your control, really, to the point where you had lost control when you should have been in control of yourself, to the point without regretting yourself from doing something that you otherwise, through being sober-minded, would have never done or committed. That's why we have to guard against evils. We really have to be on guard in terms of how we think, you know what I'm saying, regarding us minding our own business or minding our minds for the jewels of our souls. It's our responsibility to make sure that our cipher stay intact, that consists of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, understanding, overstanding and outer standing, with intellect and intellect, dealing with higher levels of information that the master teacher Panabab Yanun brought us, so we can pretty much think differently in a way where we will become so analytical in thought, can't nobody pull no kind of nonsense over on us regarding our Christ consciousness, where things become crystal clear to us, where we can see through the ethers, or we can read the ethers of the environment to the point where we work our magic, our black magic, our man-ether magic spirit force energies in a way that meet the needs of securing our knowledge of self lifestyle that's in tune with our overseers and ancestors and etherians dealing with the ether world. Say for instance, right, like we may have friends or spiritual brothers and sisters we communicate with for purposes of connecting with people regarding our spiritual growth. We not made to be stunted, but yet you have forces that is in place to stunt your growth through false information that produce what's called black people having a falsified consciousness as a result of information control, from controlled information that people get programmed with, right, from certain hidden agendas by certain mind manipulators. Now let's go into this conversation, right, or dialogue about the intelligence communities of our system. Now let us reason together, right? Okay, now here in the United States, right, regarding the intelligence community. The intelligence community, this reads, right, in the United States, the intelligence community in the United States is a collective of 18 government agencies and organizations focused on gathering, analyzing, and disseminating intelligence to support national security and foreign policy. These agencies include both national level intelligence bodies and those within the Department of Defense and other federal departments according to intelligence community careers. Now, the intelligence community is made up of people who have careers participating in activities and job descriptions dealing with intelligence for the intelligence community. Right? Now, the intelligence community, their primary customers are the president, national security policy makers, and the military. Now, wait right there. Usually we would think like our government is made up collectively of all of what was just mentioned about the president. You know what I'm saying? Regarding the highest elected official post in the United States government, right? Wait a minute. How does this stuff work? Have we took time out to really educate our mind and comprehend what is really going on. What's going on? Now listen to this, right? The intelligence community's primary customers are the president, national security policymakers, and the military. So the military is they customers, the national security policymakers is they customers, and the president is the intelligence community's customers. So the president used the services of the intelligence communities as a customer, and the cabinets and administration or national security policy makers is the customers of the intelligence community, and the military is the customers of the intelligence community who provide services for gathering, analyzing, and disseminating intelligence to support national security and foreign policy. But I thought all of those departments, agencies, and elements was like one collective body in a machine, and like cogwheels in a machine doing that's a part of a whole. But they like independent, separate departments for certain reasons. Well, I'm thinking they all is one law enforcement agency that's like under the umbrella of the judicial branch of the government, executive branch of the government, and legislative branch of the government. So how do these things work? You know what I'm saying? These questions will lead to some kind of insight on how our intelligence communities work. For instance, they say it's 18 government agencies or organizations that's focused on these activities regarding intelligence in the United States. Now listen to this. Now they say here's a breakdown of the key components of the intelligence community, right? Independent agencies. The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, is the only fully independent intelligence community. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence oversees the entire intelligence community. So the CIA don't oversee the intelligence community. Is more to the intelligence community than the CIA. So the Office of the Director of National Intelligence oversees the entire intelligence community. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. So is this giving us a guide into the reality of how to better understand these elements of these intelligence institutions, right? That's at work right now with national security interests, right? To ensure the safety and security of our nation, right? Now watch this. Now, the Department of Defense elements. This includes the Defense Intelligence Agency, the National Security Agency, the DIA and NSA, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, the National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, and intelligence elements within each military branch. So, each branch of the military made up of what? The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, special forces, or what have you, right? Within each, they have what they say intelligence elements in them. Now, they say other federal department elements. Agencies like the Department of Energy, Office of Intelligence and Counterintelligence, and Department of Homeland Security's Office of Intelligence and Analysis, and the Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Investigation also play a role according to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which oversees the entire intelligence community. Now these willing participants who is a part of these organizations, right? 18 agencies and organizations in this intelligent community with operations and activities that's focusing on these particular kind of things. Okay, the intelligence community work is crucial for, okay, informing policy decisions, providing intelligence to policymakers to shape foreign policy and national security strategies. Okay. Foreign policies, interests as well, okay. Supporting military operations, supplying intelligence to military commanders to enhance operational effectiveness and troop safety or personnel safety, protecting national security, countering threats like terrorism, cyber attacks, and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Okay. Now, for instance, let's go here. Okay. Now, this is regarding the members of the IC or intelligence community, right? What is intelligence? What is intelligence? Answer. Intelligence is information gathered within or outside of the United States that involves threats to our nation, its people, property, or interests, development, proliferation, or use of weapons of mass destruction, and any other matter bearing on the United States national or homeland security intelligence can provide insight not available elsewhere that warn of potential threats and opportunities, assess probable outcomes of proposed policy options, provide leadership profiles on foreign officials, and inform official travelers of counterintelligence and security threats. Now, we heard the term about like foreign and domestic enemies of the United States of America. Now, based on what this just described about what the intelligence is, right? In addition to what it just said, it say also The United States intelligence community is a foundation of executive branch agencies and organizations that work separately and together to conduct intelligence activities necessary for the conduct of foreign relations and the protection of the national security of the United States. Now, what is the United States national security? We're going to get to that. The intelligence community remains focused on the mission of cyber intelligence, counter-terrorism, counter-proliferation of what? Because like the word proliferation means like for something to grow rapidly by multiplication. It's a growth process of something. So when they say counter proliferation, what is they talking about? Like creating a resistance to something developing. Well, they say counter-proliferation, though. Counter-intelligence. So that's like going against the intelligence of something that's considered of non-interest. In addition to the counter-proliferation, pretty much they go hand in hand with counterintelligence of a certain idea or operation that an organization want to enforce and on the threats posed, right, by state and non-state actors challenging U.S. national security and interests worldwide. Now, it's going back into talking about customers. The National Security Act of 1947, as amended, defined the intelligence community's customers as where these powerful people use the services of the intelligence community through this particular, for national security purposes, right? The National Security Act of 1947. The president, right? Okay. The National Security Act of 1947, as amended, defines the intelligence community's customers as the President, National Security Council, Head Department of Agency of the Executive Branch, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, and Senior Military Commanders, Congress, right? Types of intelligence, right? The intelligence cycle is a process of collecting information and developing it into intelligence for use by the intelligence community customers. The steps in the process are direction, collection, processing, exploitation, and dissemination. IC products can either be based on a single type of collection or all source. That is based upon all available types of collection. IC products also can be produced by one IC element or coordinated with other IC elements and delivered to IC customers in various formats, including papers, digital media, briefings, maps, graphics, videos, and other distribution methods. There are 6 basic intelligence sources or collection disciplines, right? SIGINT, signals intelligence, is derived from signal intercepts comprising, however transmitted either individually or in combination. All communications intelligence, electronic intelligence, and foreign instrumentation signals intelligence. The National Security Agency is responsible for collecting, processing, and reporting signal intelligence. The National Signal Intelligence Committee within the National Security Agency advises the Director, NSA, and the DNI and signal intelligence policy issues and manages the signal intelligence requirement system. So they deeply entrenched with intelligence methods to do things, right? In addition to that intelligence, these other intelligence disciplines, they say imagery intelligence includes representations of objects reproduced electronically or by optical means on film, electronic display devices, or other media. Imagery can be derived from visual photography, radar sensors, and electro-optics. NGA is the manager for all imagery intelligence activities, both classified and unclassified, within the government, including requirements, collection, processing, exploitation, dissemination, archiving, and retrieval. Right? Then this other discipline regarding measurement and signature intelligence is information produced by quantitative and qualitative analysis of physical attributes of targets and events to characterize, locate, and identify them. Measurement and signature intelligence exploits a variety of phenomenologies from a variety of sensors and platforms to support signature development and analysis, to perform technical analysis, and to detect, characterize, locate, and identify targets and events. Measurement and signature intelligence is derived from specialized, technically derived measurements of physical phenomena intrinsic to an object or event, and it includes the use of quantitative signatures to interpret the data. The director of DIA is both the intelligence community, functional manager, and measurement of signature, and the Department of Defense, the DOD, measurement and signature manager. The National Measurement Signature Office manages and executes measurement and signature services of common concern and related activities for the D/DIA in response to national and Department of Defense requirements. If interested in learning more about measurement and signature intelligence, check out the NMO's primer, right? These are the disciplines regarding these intelligence community activities, right? Now I'm going somewhere with this. Human intelligence is derived from human sources. Okay. So, what are the sources of paranormal activity? Specifically dealing with these human sources. Because there's something called the Human Genome Project, or the human genome, dealing with the genetics of the races of humanity, right? With different DNA signatures, where we have on the planet, amongst the nations and races, different blood types. If we are one people, why are there multiple blood types on the planet? Which is a question that can be answered through right knowledge. This goes on to read though about the human intelligence is derived from human sources. To the public, human intelligence derived from human sources remains synonymous with espionage and clandestine activities dealing with spies, spy activity, like undercover spy activity and spies. However, most human intelligence is derived from human sources. Collection is performed by over-collectors such as strategic debriefers and military attaches. It is the oldest method for collecting information, and until the technical revolution of the mid to late 20th century, it was the primary source of intelligence. Like utilizing espionage and clandestine activities for the gathering of information. Open source intelligence is another discipline. Open source intelligence is publicly available information appearing in print or electronic form, including radio, television, newspapers, journals, and the internet, commercial databases, and videos, graphics, and drawings. While open source collection responsibilities are broadly distributed through the intelligence community, the major collectors are the DNI's Open Source Center, OSC, and the National Air and Space Intelligence Center. The Geospatial Intelligence also is the analysis and visual representation of security related activities on the Earth. It is produced through the integration of imagery intelligence, and geospatial information. Geospatial intelligence is the analysis and visual representation of security related activities on the earth. Now, so we're thinking about all of those disciplines, right? When the master teacher put the book together, are there UFOs and extraterrestrials or the book UFOs, extraterrestrials in our midst, or the mystery clouds, are they UFOs, or the scroll is God an extraterrestrial? Now, there's certain aerial phenomena that are anomalies that, in terms of like this particular spatial data of the skies, where, say for instance, we got ways to research the weather of the space outside the Earth's atmosphere. We have capabilities of forecasting the weather within the Earth's atmosphere, to where there's satellites all over the place, telecommunication systems all over the place, where things can be triangulated on and identified to gather intel on what their specific object is for national security purposes, to make sure these particular kind of objects and things are not threats to public safety. Public safety is one of the primary importances to maintaining and keeping the peace. Now, for instance, you can tell, despite, say for instance, like clandestine spy system in place to get intel on people, through like what they mention here regarding the source of certain intel being the people source. Like, wait a minute, like how they say, regarding people, right? Hold up. Okay. Find that about people. You know what I'm saying? See when it turns to rise. Nation. Products. Okay. Let's go to source intelligence. Types of intelligence. Okay. This is very interesting. How to see things, you know what I'm saying, from these particular terminologies. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Types of okay. Sources. Regarding people, primary source of intelligence, right? This goes on to speak about the National Intelligence Strategy in support of the National Security Strategy. The National Intelligence Strategy, which sets forth national security priorities, right? Where they have these particular foundational, the National Intelligence Strategy. Okay, they have this particular document here talking about the National Intelligence Strategy, right? In support of the National Security Strategy, which sets forth national security priorities. The Director of National Intelligence provides the intelligence community with strategic direction for the next 4 years through the National Intelligence Strategy. The National Intelligence Strategy is a foundational document for the intelligence community and reflects the input from each of the 18 intelligence elements or agencies as it guides the operations, investments, and priorities of the collective, the whole, right? The National Intelligence Strategy outlines 6 goals that reflect key elements of the current strategic environment, right? Position the intelligence community for intensifying strategic competition. Recruit, develop, and retain a talented and diverse workforce that operates as a united community, right? Deliver interoperable and innovative solutions at scale. Diversify, expand, and strengthen partnerships. Expand intelligence communities and expertise on transnational challenges and enhance resilience, right? Okay, let's go back. Okay. Now, with that said, that's what the intelligence community is, right? So, when Noble Drew Ali was like, it takes finances to raise a nation. To get through our heads as a people. To support projects for the black liberation objectives as a nation within a nation, right? We have rights in this nation. So these realities of the intelligence community, this apply to us. So, for instance, we know in reality there's such a thing called Manchurian candidates, right? Who are like military vessels whose minds been programmed to operate under certain instructions of certain military programming, right? They were just posting something about a super army, you know what I'm saying, that is at Trump's command, but yet was that AI trick knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the cyberspace. Right? We're dealing with all kind of things, you know what I'm saying, that's out here that appear to be mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a saying about one brother, about like, say for instance, brothers out here gang banging. I'm like, no, you know what I'm saying? Brothers ain't out here doing that type of gang banging no more. They out here brain banging, using their heads, you know what I'm saying, beyond the animalisticness or the animalistic violence that had them classified as super predators, certain menaces to society, who fit the description of being defined that way by racist circles who need that kind of narrative to justify attacking someone they don't like anyway that happen to have non-white skin color. Now, here it is, right? Our country has intelligence communities all through it. But yet, there is a lot of ignorance permeate through the society at the same time. So wait a minute. So when the master teacher told us, look, we got to come up with a do-it-yourself program, and don't believe, he said, don't believe me? Check it out. I love utilizing my time wisely in terms of me having a thirst for knowledge and being inquisitive to figure certain things out, through finding certain things out, and apply the relevant information that will enable me to be a seer, which is what we all should be doing to improve our political reality in this country that's dealing with all kind of competitions and battles, you know what I'm saying, regarding the immigrants coming over here, where you have people who look at us as black people or African Americans with misunderstandings because of stereotypes trying to play us like, oh, them niggas ignorant, them niggas in a box of non-thinking individuals who don't value the best in civilized society or something, to where we fit this within the stereotype of being niggerized to the point where only thing we value is street life, drugs, violence, that connect us to the prison pipeline as a result of not valuing knowledge and education that can cause us to be in an environment of law-abiding living. In the eyes of these intelligence communities of our country. Now, what is said about this intelligence community? Now, they say it's 18 of them, you know what I'm saying, including like this one in particular what this one's talking about. All right. Okay. Then they start going off into, you know what I'm saying, the symbols of these intelligence communities, dealing with the symbolism, right? With connections to other intelligence communities where they all support each other with certain operations, you know what I'm saying, and operating procedures. Now, what I wanted to talk about with the intelligence communities having all of these resources and capabilities to the point where, why is it that it appears certain political circles or people, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the Constitution, local, city, you know what I'm saying, city, local, and state and federal government activities to where in these seats of power, certain people be doing stuff that be going unnoticed. But they don't say nothing about certain things that should be addressed, right? Remember that particular civil rights ruling where the military was desegregated, but still there was certain oversight of these departments, you know what I'm saying, to report certain discrimination that was practiced by the bigots in them circles anyway, you know what I'm saying, which pretty much was they spies to gather intel to maintain order, after all, right, regarding national security, right? It's finna blow y'all minds, because to me this is mind blowing. Now, our country value national security, right? Would you agree? I'm asking a question. With all of this intel in place, and resources, and surveillance systems, monitoring systems, cameras, tracking devices, satellites, you know what I'm saying? All these elements with the mentalities of the people in the intelligence communities, right? Who value national security, the policymakers in the military, right? We would think we with all of this evidence of, you know, things being done to protect and secure national security, right? We come to understand that national security is a big issue in our country. Now, for the sake of national security, right? Regarding the citizenship of us who are citizens of the United States of America, regarding we the people, right? shouldn't national security apply to protecting black people from police brutality, from racial discrimination, from unfair housing, protected from unemployment, protected from being disenfranchised, protected from being isolated from environments that is considered prime real estate environments. Like when they was talking about the racial covenant of real estate brokers who, in behind closed doors amongst themselves, vow to one another to keep certain neighborhoods all white, that excludes other non-white peoples. So when it comes to national security, these unjust practices that's going on within the borders of the United States, shouldn't national security get on the head of white supremacy, hegemony, and domination? Let us reason together. A lot of us have visions to where a lot of us have job positions we hold. A lot of people in the society who work certain governmental positions or have, they have uniforms on, to the point where the uniform replaces their humanity because of them being programmed into becoming a Manchurian candidate, when the moral fiber of the wearer of the uniform still should be able to peek through the information of their job description as government officials, to still have a moral compass, to not cross certain lines dealing with brutality of human beings through the use of excessive force, to the point where psychological evaluations has to take place with these people before they even commit an act of excessive use of force, which will prevent the act of excessive use of force, to where families wouldn't have to be dealing with a lawsuit against certain public officials who act in certain capacities that are unlawful. But yet, there are arguments in place to where the unlawful illegalities in certain law enforcement officials who cross certain lines get protected with certain immunities, which isn't fair, which creates a climate where other spiritual things can transpire that's beyond repair, to where karma steps in to where all hell breaks loose against the sources of the excessive use of force, to the point where people can't escape the wrong and these extreme crazy evils that they do. Whether a person is in these particular active duties or these governmental active duties, whatever branch of the military there is, or government, or status of a person regarding everyday people. First of all, like when they was talking about the source of intel, dealing with the intelligence communities, the human source is the source of the intel. So people being people, we the people, right? That's why you don't underestimate people. But yet some people is incapacitated to the point where they are considered the relics, who is not a threat to anything, to the point where due to bad choices that they make in their life that cause them to abandon their own self-care, to the point where they let themselves go to a point of no return, to where you see them out here in the streets. Man's gone. Man's gone. When there's supposed to be help for them, like mental health services, that they don't take advantage of because they too far gone, to the point where they can't even show love to themselves. I mean, to the point where they so far gone, they can't even be helped. So if a person degenerates to such a low state like that, right? These grown-up people with choices that they made, to the point where there's certain things we have no control over because they doing that shit to themselves. They want to be like that. As sick as it is, I think they know what they doing. But how can their mind get so gone to the point where they literally don't care how they look in the public, to the point where the public see these people like every day? They just gave up on themselves to where they lower than beggars. They just so far gone they can't be saved. Like the term say, if you can think, you can save yourself. So if they not thinking to the point where they not saving themselves, and people try to help them out that condition, and they don't want to get out of that condition, how can they mind be? Remember how the scripture was talking about certain people who do things where, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, how lies and falsehood go against the grain of the brain, which destroys the beauty of the brain. These particular type of people, regarding the science of thought, end up being so far gone where the Bible even talk about people being gave over to a reprobated mind. Think about it. It's people out here with reprobated minds. Righteousness builds a city up. Wickedness tears it down. Even even though we have intelligence communities, right? What level of spiritual knowledge do they have to where, regarding national security, to where the knowledge they have is building the city up? Here it is. You have the administration of the MAGA movement, spearheaded by Donald Trump. Think about this. See the mentality that they is in compared to the Al-Mujahid, Hadabab Yanun, the reformer of this era of time in this sun cycle we in right now, right? This is unbiased knowledge. This is knowledge rooted in natural nature from a particular spiritual source that's designed to get us right regarding the permutation of the human species through a certain transformation, right? And it was my that stuff that guy be talking about, Dr. York, or Dr. York, Dr. Malachi York. That nigga crazy. Or individuals, you know what I'm saying, or them guys, you know what I'm saying, who be listening to him or into that black stuff. Them niggas crazy. Like you got rituals and movies, you know what I'm saying, that try to belittle the intelligent black power brothers and sisters, right? You know what I'm saying? Where they finna commit a criminal act, right? Where they planning to go rob a bank. You know what I'm saying? To the point where as far as like individuals who was to be a part of their crew in the movie, right? You know what I'm saying? They was considering certain peoples to go on the bank robbery with them, where they gathered most of the people who they wanted on their team to go do the particular shoot the move that they was gonna make, right? They pretty much had everybody. Then one of the brothers made a suggestion about involving some of the black power individuals, right? And bro responded like, oh no, man, I don't want none of them black power niggas, you know what I'm saying? They'll mess everything up or something. But yet, you know what I'm saying, them the intelligent people you really want amongst you because they have brains. You know what I'm saying? But good though. It wouldn't have been a good move for a conscious brother and sister to participate in any way regarding certain criminal acts. Now, when you analyze that particular dialogue that was going on right there in that moment of that, the scenario of them bank robbers, right? They tried to make it look like the revolutionary-minded individuals was the like weak, undesirable people you don't want around in the streets. But yet the people you want around you in the streets, you know what I'm saying, is the people who is considered, you know what I'm saying, the murderers, the robbers, you know what I'm saying, the drug people, and things of this particular nature. Who is they people, but they doing and standing for different things. But just because you have the criminal element out there doing what they do, the black power brother and sister, you know what I'm saying, still look at them in the light to where, like, look, we love y'all. Y'all our brothers and sisters. Where y'all is encouraged to get y'all mind right, where y'all wouldn't have to shoot the particular type of moves, where we can get politically involved and invest in developing businesses. You know what I'm saying? The creation of banks and getting them educated about running these particular kind of operations as members of the black community, minus the socially engineered, like, criminal elements or criminalization of of the black community. You know what I'm saying? So, for the sake of national security and the intelligence community value, why do we have a history here in the United States of so much negative occurrences dealing with black people overcoming, right, the Black Holocaust in the United States? This, wake up, America. Wake up, the United States. Wake up, people of the world. The master teacher was like, no one wins the race in racism. With all of this intelligence in place, look at human social behavior, which is a result of their psychology. What's really in people's heads and hearts that cause them to act out certain behavior that contradict what they consider standing on certain levels of intelligence of an intelligence community. You profess it to us, okay, wow, look at how highly intelligent you is. But at the same time, showing how unintelligent you is by committing low acts against the fellow people of the society, playing stupid games with mislabeling people as minorities, when it's nothing minor about us, when we are really the majority. See the silly games people play? You know what I'm saying? But due to us having a moral compass, right, being resilient enough to tap into our higher consciousness without giving in to the animalistic behaviors of savagery, right? And not going crazy in the face of so much hatred, to the point where, I mean, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about, remember that statement about it was a certain topic talking about the hate that hate produced. You know what I'm saying? The hate that hate produced. To the point where hatred was kindled in people's hearts, in black people's hearts. You know what I'm saying? Who hate white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Because of its oppression, suppression. You know what I'm saying? And unjust ways, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the abuse of power. the power being utilized the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? To where in the minds of these perpetrators or the individuals who was doing these things, and still in a lot of ways doing these things, because the climate of America still has those racist elements to it that needs to be eradicated. So cracking down on hate groups, when you look at it, cracking down on hate groups, the most #1 hate group of the entire planet, has to look in the mirror, or is they going to crack down on themselves? Like it's a saying, a house divided against itself can't stand. Look at the house of the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? Ponder on that. Right back, hold on. Yeah, I'm back, right? I'm gonna shift the focus, right? On to this particular other points I want to bring up dealing with Donald Trump and the MAGA movement and the Trump administration, dealing with the reality of what we're dealing with right now as a people, right? Who need to unify around certain objectives to improve our political power. You know, beyond these like, you know, this unnecessary fighting of one another with certain forces, you know what I'm saying, want us to be doing just that, being divided and fighting one another. But these particular ideas that I have, that I want to address, I think will make plenty sense. For instance, Mark, this is regarding Trump's executive orders on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Explain, right? Okay, back this up for a minute. Now, in his first week of office, Donald Trump issued a series of executive orders targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the public and private sectors, right? These executive orders are designed to chill and prohibit or stop lawful efforts to advance equal opportunity. Now, we went through lawful approaches and channels for these powers to be authorized with the help of the Supreme Court powers. Doing good. So what do him and his helpers do? Stop the lawful efforts of us advancing with equal opportunity. Why would you want to interfere with that kind of progress of our people? They attempt to do so by spreading disinformation, and distorting federal laws to advance an agenda based on division and hate. There's a saying about the devil is a liar, right? There's no truth in them. I mean, to conspicuously lie to the people with an agenda to do more lying and to parade before the world the evidence of your doing. Lets us know where you stand. You and your helpers stand. Now here it is. We're trying to live life to make the world a better place. By getting along with one another or with people who is on that kind of frequency. So here comes this so-called competent leader who is disrupting progress of the American people, which is basically a threat to national security, but they don't see it that way though. America is supposed to be America. So the institutions of America should be on the same page with one another to ameliorate the system collectively as a whole. But like they talking about here, they attempt to do so as far as stopping the lawful efforts to advance equal opportunity, right? In the name, they doing this in the name of bigotry and hatred, and to promote division. It was a panel of all white Supreme Court judges, right, who unanimously agreed to integrate the education system, which was a agreeable act where black and white, boys and girls participated in the education process where their future wasn't affected by the stigmatism of the racial bigotry. Right? At them times. Yet the mentality of this current MAGA movement is still in that racist mentality. Spreading disinformation and distort federal laws to advance an agenda based on division and hate. Now let's get into it. What do executive orders do? Among other things, executive orders direct the Trump administration's agency and staff to terminate diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, positions, and programs in the federal government. Which is not good. Negative effect in positive people's lives who are through legal achievements have gotten there through fair opportunities as a result of being competent people to hold those positions. But based on the color of their skin, right? The racist Trump MAGA movement want to, like they say, shield or prohibit or stop for reasons of just being disruptive as a race hater, as a hater. Terminate equity-related grants and contracts Now hold on. Grants and contracts for business developments. That's a threat to national security to me. Donald Trump is a threat to national security, doing this to his own American people. And a lot of people may not see this deep with what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Look at what you're doing, man, to your own fellow American citizens. Opportunities for growth and development, Mr. Trump. That ain't right what you're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? So, say for instance, y'all want to consolidate power at the expense of others when the American people is supposed to be of the human family of America. But your so-called competent mind can't see this. Listen to this language here that y'all are causing, thinking y'all are doing something. People don't like this stuff, man. Look at this. Repeal prior executive orders designed to ensure equity opportunities in the workplace, including a decades-old executive order from the Johnson administration that required contracts receiving federal funds to take active steps to prevent discrimination and address barriers to employment opportunities. Now, with all of these gains, why would Trump and his administration attack these advances to set us back even more by so-called getting rid of these beneficial support systems? Don't they sound like a threat to national security? I'm gonna keep going. Direct federal agencies to contractually obligate federal contracts and grantees to certify that they do not operate any programs promoting DEI that violate any applicable federal anti-discrimination laws, while making clear that President Trump considers DEI to be illegal and immoral. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's not illegal and immoral. You know what the fuck illegal and immoral? Like when you gonna talk about Netanyahu and that President what Ayatollah some of Iran, right? That they after a certain peace agreement was reached between them with Trump's involvement, if it really happened, that after the peace agreement that he was involved in, they went right fucking back to bombing each other. And then remember when he got on social media responding to what they did, talking about they don't know what the fuck they doing. Right? Remember? Look what Trump is doing here. He flipping, utilizing words in a way to demonize black advancements in the United States of America, that these people appear to be jealous of our progress. Talking about Trump considers DEI to be illegal and immoral, but other Supreme Court justices who unanimously agreed that was unconstitutional certain discriminatory practices, where they was kudos to them being in their right mind, where they helped allow the support and advancement of the diversity, equity, and inclusion opportunities for the advancement of our people here in the United States of America as citizens. You know what I'm saying? Now listen to this, right? Listen to the words he used. How the fuck is this illegal? And it was accomplished through legal means, dummy. And how is it immoral? What was fucking immoral is the Black Holocaust that was perpetrated by the racist violence in the 100 years of lynching that y'all don't want to look at. See, them the negative characteristics of your ancestors that you connected to regarding that racist blood that they got, you know what I'm saying, that created those unhealthy circumstances and conditions that the racist forces created. And then he gonna try to make it seem like critical race theory is critical race. He gonna try to vilify critical race theory like it's some kind of how should I put it? Like critical race theory, which is real. Like it's outdated, or it's not relevant to for being maintained in the education system or taught in the colleges or whatever as a movement that exposes the real history of white supremacy in the United States. Right? This goes on to say, right? Challenge programs of publicly traded corporations, large nonprofits, philanthropic foundations, professional associations, and institutions of higher education that are designed to advance equity, fairness, including by threatening legal action with the obvious goal of stopping their programs. Now, the Trump administration got goals to stop these good programs for the people. It sounds like a threat to national security to me. It's not good for the country like this. I don't think so. Yeah, he got businessman instincts, yeah. Regarding certain business. Not this kind of business, though. And then Donald Trump, he gonna gaslight. What's her name? What's her name? Tulsi Gabbard, who was like some kind of intelligence community member, right? To me, Tulsi Gabbard, you shouldn't have let him gaslight you. You know better than that. About the intel information that you gave him, that he brushed off like you ain't know what you was talking about. Turn right around and start glorifying you for some other reason, saying that you're doing a good job. See how Donald Trump is a user? That don't make no sense. How he's doing the American people, abusing the seat of presidency. Ain't right. A lot of people who voted for him, they disappointed. They disappointed. But yeah, we got what? 3 and some months. What? 3 more years of this and a few more months. People got to brace themselves with watching what's going on. But this is serious. It ain't right. And people is like, this can't be real. This is unbelievable what they doing. Regarding these programs, they defunding, issue guidance. Where the money going, by the way? Where all this money going that they defunding? Is they stealing it? Is what I mean? And then I seen something where it was talking about they had saved some money to buy certain bills to get passed too, with the money that been defunded from federal government programs and DEI programs, etc. World, people. This is a madhouse sometimes. It appears like how obvious some of this stuff appear to be just insane what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And the United States debt clock constantly getting more extensive in its number flipping and more debt. I mean, this is just, look at this. This is what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And people, you know what I'm saying, trying to hold on to the good that they do have. Don't need this unnecessary stress or problems being created by these so-called people in the intelligence communities that care about the well-being of the American people. You deserve better than this. This goes on to read, right? Issue guidance that may seek to limit what state and local educational agencies and institutions of higher education can do to ensure equal access to education. We've been doing it. You don't need, man, look, like you doing something. We've been doing that. This type of measure been approached to ensure. That's what DEI is about. Look at the double speak. Y'all hear that shit? Issues guidance that may seek to limit what state and local educational agencies and institutions of higher learning can do. To ensure equal access to education. That shit sound like a trick word. First of all, talking about issue guidance that may seek to limit what state and local educational agencies, institutions, or higher learning can do. Why you want to limit us? Why you want to try to stop the growth of the people when we doing great things? See, that's the greatness of us. See, we doing greatness. We tapping into greatness as a people. You know what I'm saying? And we already, as a result of the diversity, equity, and inclusion, dealing with which like ensures equal access to education, right? But this sound like a devil right here. This sound like the devil's at work right here, man. Talking about issue guidance that may seek to limit, like giving them guidance how to pursue education after they already got good guidance to pursue their education and approach the educational process. How they approaching it as a result from the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like y'all giving them guidance to make it seem like they don't know what they doing. Y'all see the damn trick words? Look at this shit. Issue guidance that may seek to limit. Give them guidance to limit what they doing. Right? Limit what state and local educational agencies and institutions of higher learning, higher education can do to ensure equal access to education, like they ain't been ensuring equal access to education in these institutions of higher learning. Well, I'm telling you, boy, know what you already said, if you can think, you'll be able to see, baby. As the teacher said, to think is a gift. Don't misuse it, don't underuse it. Okay, moving on. What don't the executive orders do? Equal opportunity and anti-discrimination obligations are enshrined in the U.S. Y'all heard that? Equal opportunity and anti-discrimination obligations are enshrined in the United States Constitution and our federal civil rights laws. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. But Trump attacked it and got rid of it. That's disrespectful to the Constitution. It sounds like to me, them kind of moves they making, them threats to national security for the American people. The executive orders do not and cannot change that. But yet, he put forth them executive orders to get rid of those particular legally accomplished advancements for us. The president's role is to implement laws. He cannot rewrite them. Diversity, equity, and inclusion policies and programs help organizations comply with civil rights laws by ensuring that all people are on an equal footing in the workplace, in educational and medical settings. Organizations that roll back these efforts risk violating anti-discrimination laws, which I think what they say, some kind of let's see, Organizations that roll back these efforts risk violating anti-discrimination laws, which is what the Trump administration has done. The Trump administration has violated anti-discrimination laws. Think about it. It's saying right here, organizations that roll back. What did Trump and them roll back? It's a big list. And they anti-black, which is discriminatory in his racist regime. That's wrong, man. So wrong, man. I don't like that, man. And so does a lot of the American people, white and non-white. The executive orders also do not, wait a minute, organizations that roll back these Trump MAGA movement organizations that roll back these efforts risk violating anti-discrimination laws of unfair barriers if unfair barriers persist. But they done cross certain barriers. Like I said, crossing them barriers like that sound like them threats to national security of the people. The EOs also do not halt programs that are specifically designed to remedy ongoing discrimination against people. Wait a minute. The EOs, the executive orders, also do not halt programs that are specifically designed to remedy ongoing discrimination against people of color and women that are codified in statute or regulation, like the Department of Transportation, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Programs. The executive orders also do not change the reality that the American dream is not equally available to all. In 2023, the Department of Education reported that it received the most civil rights complaints in its history. You know what I'm saying? I think a large percentage of the American people have civil rights complaints against this MAGA movement. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. MAGA stand for Make America Great Again. How is y'all really making America great again doing this kind of stuff? That's not making America great again. That's making America worse again. But you trying to make it good for certain what they call certain players who is a part of the Trump administration's agenda of the MAGA movement, right? To where they show them their racist faces. This don't make no sense. But this is the stuff we dealing with. So by analyzing these particular kind of realities with these executive orders, us as a people who is at the receiving end of the negative effects of the executive orders, we have to come up with solutions how we can benefit from the true anti-discrimination laws in the face of the bigotry of this Trump administration that's full of lies. You know what I'm saying? That's wearing one big fat mask that has been exposed. The EOs, right? The executive orders also do not change the reality that the American dream is not equally available to all, right? Well, it should be, right? In 2021, the Department of Education reported that it received the most civil rights complaints in its history, most of which allege race, sex, or disability discrimination, while the number of black people with college degrees has increased over the last 2 decades. Black people remain relegated to low-wage jobs and less lucrative industries compared to white people with similar levels of education. The black woman experienced some of the largest pay gaps. Black people and other people of color in the United States suffer disproportionately from preventable diseases and premature deaths, including high rates of mortality, of maternal mortality, despite living in a country with one of the most advanced medical systems in the world. Despite living in a country with the most advanced medical system in the world. With one of the most advanced medical systems in the world. Racial disparities that persist even when accounting for socioeconomic status and lifestyle, insurance coverage, and other risk factors. These racial inequalities hurt the American economy as a whole. A 2020 study by Citi estimates that the United States aggregate economic output would have been $16 trillion higher since 2000. If we had closed racial gaps in wages, access to higher education, lending, and mortgage access. Okay, now what are diversity, equity, and inclusion programs? Right? Programs that increase diversity, fairness, and inclusion, and accessibility are not quotas, which are illegal. Instead, they are strategies to equalize opportunities for groups of people who are unfairly disadvantaged. And we know the history of America. We non-white people have, especially us Nubian blacks, have been unfairly disadvantaged for hundreds of years, such as engaging in broader outreach and as far as the unfairly disadvantaged, right? Such as engaging in broader outreach and recruitment measures to expand a college applicant pool, adopting a policy to only focus on necessary skills and qualifications and hiring, providing training to ensure that healthcare providers can effectively treat patients of all backgrounds, among others. At the end of the day, a successful diversity, equity, and inclusion program strives to ensure that no one feels excluded or treated unfairly. The federal government should encourage these programs, not limit them. not limit them. And what Trump do? Discouraged the programs, limited them, and got them defunded to where they've been taken away. Sound like a threat to national security to me. How can these executive orders harm America as a whole? Federal programs should serve everyone equally. And that's what diversity, equity, and inclusion have done. The federal workforce is best able to serve our country if it reflects the full range of available talent. If the Trump administration fully implements these executive orders, they will erect new barriers to federal programs, barriers to employment. So why is he talking like they create jobs when they done created barriers to the jobs? Liars. The federal workforce is best able to serve our country. So why did he disrupt that workforce, which was unwise? That was not good judgment. So what is they really trying to do? When they know good and well that is counterproductive to disrupt that workforce like that, where the country is being improved. Now look at this. If they messing stuff up, how is the MAGA movement? How is the MAGA movement making America great again? Hello? Anybody home? Wow. You can't make this stuff up, man. Federal programs should serve everyone equally. The federal workforce is best available to serve our country if it reflects the full range of available talent. The talent is there. If the Trump administration fully implements these executive orders, they will erect new barriers to federal programs and barriers to employment, making the federal government less available to meet the needs of the nation. So, why is the Trump administration lying like they really meeting the needs of our nation? You had previous administrations that really did meet the needs of the nation through the diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Wow. Yeah. It's amazing how they really disappointed a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? People with vote Trump into office. He get in there and backstab his voter base. And now people like, I wish I didn't vote for him. But guess what? You know, only thing people can do is just learn from these experiences and just know better from these experiences. That's all. And make better choices next time. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Or we vote for people that really have our interests at heart. The executives also try to empower the Trump administration to interfere in private sector efforts to open up opportunity. Ultimately, these executive orders will weaken our economy. That's what's going on too. Endanger our national security. What did I just say? Sound like a threat to national security. threaten our multiracial democracy. And that's the bottom line regarding our democracy being eroded by these sick activities, you know what I'm saying, by these irresponsible political operations of the MAGA movement, this Trump administration. We are prepared to use all the tools at our disposal to ensure that everyone can advance the laudable goals of diversity, equity, and inclusion in all aspects of our daily lives. Now, with that said, right, positive energy activates constant elevation, arm yourselves with knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And know that love is out here. You know what I'm saying? Behind the bigotry and hate. You know what I'm saying? So, things will be alright. Stay focused. And know that being optimistic is the key. Dealing with this kind of, you know, madness. You know what I'm saying? Positivity is the key. You know what I'm saying? So we see what's going on with the real aim and purpose, you know what I'm saying, of how our government system really stand for good, right? But it's others at work that don't mean them certain principles some good. You know what I'm saying? So stay in tune with the light and stay strong. Much love.